Hello, Sanford. You are watching the Coyotes Football Network. I am Jonathan West, and welcome to the Howler. As your Sanford College Coyotes are coming off a bye week, and they stand at 3-0 headed into AAC play. And it's going to be a fun one as they host the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes in the first matchup this coming weekend. Now, before we get into talking about that matchup, let's talk about some even bigger things, and that's some recruits visiting for this week's matchup. You've got Maurice Britt, arguably the most talented defensive tackle there is in high school this year, and he'll be coming to visit Sanford this weekend. This is an enormous visit. He's arguably the top guy on Sanford's board. You can expect them to try and make Britt feel right at home here at Sanford this weekend. Now, he won't be the only person coming to visit. It is going to be a big visit weekend, but mainly for the defenders. You're not going to see a lot of offensive players come in. This school has recently tried to kind of balance that out. One week they'll have offensive guys, and next week have some defensive guys, and make it a little more fitting for the offensive and defensive guys to meet the guys they would be playing with. However, that doesn't stop their fight for Clayton Fink and Tristan Newsom, the offensive linemen. Tristan Newsom, a lot of very sporadic reports coming in on him. He likes Sanford, but their schools he likes more. Seems to be the situation. So no one knows where Newsom's going. However, Adam Carr, the young man out of Berkeley, California, looks like he'll be traveling coast to coast to get here to Sanford, as no one else has really brought up any interest in the kicker. It's all Sanford there. For the athlete, Terry Robinson out of Three Rivers, Michigan. This one's interesting. It's a two-horse race, I would say. Sanford and Washington, and I'm really interested to see how that race goes. From what I've heard, he continues to kind of weigh the two options. Connor Matthews, the quarterback out of Toronto, he is 110% on the board with Sanford. Same thing with Chad Nichols, the defensive tackle out of Rutland, Vermont. So there are two specific guys there who really are full-on focused on Sanford. Nichols will be coming in this weekend for the AAC opener. So you've got a couple players that are dead set on becoming Coyotes, which is nice to see. Now the question is, can they get those guys who they are very, very close to getting fighting with other schools? Now, a guy that seems to be going away from Sanford is Mason Schimmel, the wide receiver out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He's favoring Maryland over the Coyotes. They've been fighting back and forth all year long, and right now it sounds like Maryland's winning that fight. Now, his brother Ryan Schimmel, on the other hand, the tight end, he is looking the way of Sanford. So it looks like one Schimmel will be staying, he'll be going south to Maryland, I should say, and another maybe coming north up here to Sanford, Maine. So that's something to keep in mind. And finally, a new name on the recruiting board from what I'm hearing is number 11 receiver in the nation, Graham Peterson, out of North Bethesda, Maryland. Now, the key component with Peterson here is he's got very good speed. He's very fast and has some workable hands. He's not where you really want him to be for how highly kind of touted he has been. But they do like what they see in Peterson from a growing perspective. Now, a lot of people are probably wondering why another wide receiver has been in the talks here in Sanford and what happened with Jaden Baker. Well, I'm sorry, folks, but Jaden Baker has made his intentions known. He has committed to Wisconsin. So the third of the trio has decided not to come to Sanford like his two brothers. Jaden Baker will be taking his talents to the University of Wisconsin as a wide receiver, and that is a big loss. The school really liked Baker's size, and Sanford really wanted him in here to give them a big red zone target. Now, players of the week, folks, for the American League. Last week, during the bye week, it was the Temple Owls who had both players getting their recognition. The week before, it was two Memphis players, Lou Mitchell and Ryan Thompson, for Temple getting offensive and defensive player of the week for their win over South Carolina. And a big one at that, 42-14. Now let's talk AAC standings as we get ready for the first game of the year in conference play for Sanford. They currently stand at third with not having played a conference game yet. Southern Florida and East Carolina right above them, both 1-0 in conference. Now, a number of teams have yet to play their first games, including Temple, Tulane, Cincinnati, Houston, Memphis, Central Florida, and rival UConn. But Sanford will be playing Tulsa, who has played their first game in conference play. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Sanford does with their first game in conference play. Or I'm sorry, they have not played their first game in conference play. I thought Tulsa had. I was thinking of Navy, who has played 2 games in conference play and has lost both of them. It's been a tough year for the midshipmen so far. But it's going to be an interesting matchup to watch, especially with Sanford coming off a bye week and with a lot of the news that came out of Sanford regarding what was expected to happen at the quarterback position. Sanford, of course, still ranked 14th in the nation here this week in the top 25, so they're sitting pretty. But let's get back to the quarterback situation here for a second, as from what I know, I did not get these words straight out of Coach Wolf. This was an interview done following the return from the bye week. He was asked what was going to happen with the quarterback situation after 7 interceptions in the first 3 games by quarterback John Scott. Coach Wolf said he would have taken a look, thought about benching him for a game, giving him a rest period, and starting Grant Fink, the redshirt freshman quarterback, in his place. Well, because of the bye week, it seems like the rest period will not take place. As far as I know right now, John Scott is and will be the starter for the game against Tulsa this coming weekend. Now, I understand where they're coming from with 7 interceptions thrown in your first 3 games. Not the prettiest stat line there interception-wise. But we've seen Coach Wolf do what he stated before, give kind of a rest period for a player that's maybe made too many mistakes, then they get put back in, and it looks a little bit better. We'll see if the bye week helped John Scott this weekend, as Sanford is favored early here over Tulsa. Kirk Herbstreit taking the Coyotes fully in this one, as if you look at the numbers here, all the rankings, they do outrank Tulsa in nearly every category. Now, the Coyotes are looking to really keep this streak alive. They haven't had the most dominant outings for the most part this week, or for the most part this year, but they have looked very good at a multitude of points, and that is a key component to keep in mind. The Rutgers game, I think, is the big one, of course, with them controlling that second half, just dominating the second half of play. Now they have to do that for a whole game. And if they can do that in AAC play, that's even bigger. And you folks see the schedule. Number 4, UCLA, is still on the prowl. 2 weeks, folks, and we're going to be headed to Southern California to see the UCLA Bruins take on the Coyotes, and it's going to be a very interesting game, to say the least. The defending national champions hosting the Coyotes. I can't wait for it. But of course, keep in mind, this week's game going to be fun to watch for Josh Williams, who had 4 receptions for 182 yards and 2 touchdowns 2 weeks ago in their last contest. It's going to be a fun one, but let's talk about this Tulsa offense first and foremost. Troy Mosley, the quarterback at Tulsa, hasn't done too bad so far, over 1,000 passing yards, 4 touchdowns to only 1 interception. Now, they're not throwing the ball a ton for him, only 33.7 attempts. He has thrown the ball pretty much a lot, but he hasn't done as much damage as you would expect of a guy with that many attempts. Now, Jeff White, on the other hand, is going to be a big guy to watch for. Nearly 100 yards averaging per game, 2 touchdowns rushing, and a long of 51. Beware of Jeff White. He may only be 5'11", 223. There's a lot of power in that 5'11 frame. Now, Tulsa will be without their top receiving threat in Ken Hallmiller, so that takes a lot of pressure off Dustin Jordan. He's not going to be up against their deadliest receiving threat. And I don't really think Hallmiller would be that big of a threat even if he was in the game, because of the way Tulsa likes to run their offense. I don't see them throwing the ball a ton of times against this defense. So Hallmiller, I don't think, would have been that big of a threat even if he were healthy. Now, in the secondary, you've got John Hutchinson, the top cornerback, who's going to be on Williams all day long, and that's going to be the one to watch. He has 1 pick this year, 3 total tackles with 2 assisted, and 3 pass deflections. So it's going to be a fun matchup to watch. Hutchinson's 5'11", 171 frame against the 6'2", 210 frame of Williams. 191 frame of Williams. Williams the bigger man, and I think he can force his way attacking Hutchinson. Now, we already talked about a bit here. John Scott getting a rest period kind of last week with the bye week. We'll see if he can keep going. The plus to his 7-7 season, 7 passing touchdowns, 7 interceptions, is he has thrown completion percentage-wise 76.7%. Absolutely wonderful completion percentage. Hopefully he can keep that up and keep being as accurate as he has been. And his big target to watch for, I think, this week is the 6'7", 266-pound freshman Garrett Theory. The big tight end has been a very, very useful weapon for John Scott and this offense. Expect to see Theory utilized a lot more as the season goes on. And another guy to talk about, another young monster on this team, Dylan Crosby. 3 sacks this year for the sophomore. He has 5 tackles for a loss. That is unbelievable. In just his first year of starting play, he is showing he is a huge force to be reckoned with. I think he has a chance to break some Big Joe records. And in that secondary, we haven't talked much about him. Let's talk about Sam Williams. 6'1", 175. Already has a pick on the year and has played very solid football in that nickel spot. I'm expecting Williams to really be the kind of go-to guy this week against Tulsa. I've got a feeling they're going to want to attack him a lot. Now, before we get to the end of this week's program, of course, you folks can see a bit of practice here. But this team, when it comes to the quarterback situation, we've talked plenty of it today. I've heard from fans they're a little bit scared of the way Scott plays because of those interceptions. And I can understand that. I think John Scott's done a very, very good job so far in his first 3 games. Now, you do have to look at it, that Pittsburgh game. It was arguably one of the top defenses in the nation he was going up against. It's a tough team to face. It is a tough team to face. But they pulled off the victory. The key component to John Scott, and I hate to say this because it is kind of a very overused thing talking about many college quarterbacks, he just seems to be a winner. He'll make mistakes, but the team wins with him under center, it seems. He is 3-0 as a starter for Sanford. So you do have to look at that, and this team offensively seems to have really rallied around John Scott. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a change at quarterback at any point. This team would not do as well. We wouldn't see anything change. We'd see things get worse. But Scott has really shown the mental toughness you need in a quarterback to throw an interception, or even two, and be able to bounce back from it. I'll bring up the Rutgers game again. He throws 2 interceptions in the first half, bounces back in the second half, and lights up the scoreboard. John Scott may not be the best quarterback right now that Sanford could ask for, especially with the first year of a new scheme for Sanford, but he has been playing better football than I think this team has ever seen at the quarterback position. I talked about that completion percentage, 76%. Absolutely unbelievable, and to think that it can only get better the more this young man learns. He's living up to that highly recruited talent that this team saw in him when he decided not to come to Sanford and spend a year at Illinois State Community College. They're seeing that talent they first saw before they went and recruited him as a JUCO out of Illinois State. They're finally seeing it all come together, and I think this is the big opportunity for this team. AAC play starts this weekend, folks. That's all the time we've got for you here on the Howler. I've been Jonathan West. You've been watching the Coyotes Football Network. We will see you folks this week as Tulsa comes to battle the Coyotes in the Den. Hello, Sanford. You are watching the Coyotes Football Network. I'm Jonathan West, and it is time to hashtag defend the den as your Sanford College Coyotes begin AAC play, hosting the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes. Now, the Coyotes are coming off a bye week, and they are ready to go with all the news that was surrounding quarterback John Scott this past week, as the word was coming in that he might get sat. Luckily for the bye week, his rest period took place then, and he will be in the starting lineup today in his first AAC action. So it's going to be a fun one as the Coyotes open up American Conference play against the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes. Last time these two teams faced each other, it was a tough test as the Coyotes barely eked it out over Tulsa and their option offense. Now it's a new quarterback under center for both sides and a new scheme in play for the Coyotes. We'll see if John Scott can show them just how good he can be as things are underway. Chad Riley going to return this one as the Coyotes will begin, and Riley's got a little bit of room, but he can't get to that edge enough as it's 21 yards returned by Riley. The freshman has been a solid weapon in the kick return game as the Coyotes begin on offense, and down goes Baker quick. A loss of 1 on that rush is Darren King right on top of him. Second and 11 now, offset eye as Scott looks to throw over the middle, connects with Garrett Theory, and a 10-yard connection sets up a very manageable 3rd and 1 situation. I talked about how Theory's been a top target this year, and it looks like that's going to continue that way. As Chad Collins gets the handoff, he's not going to make it though. That'll bring up 4th and 1. As they'll boot it. No, wait. Jean-Paul Valley to throw, and it's picked off by Landrum. We know Valley can throw the football. We've seen it before. But this far into your own field, I mean, that was not the smartest idea by the coaching staff whatsoever. As now Tulsa has it in great field position, already into the red zone though, as Drew Pitts gains 10 yards on that reception. 2nd and inches now as Mosley and company trying to get the first points of the day after the great field position. Option here by Mosley, and he won't reach the marker. He's still going to be short. So that's going to make it 3rd and inches as their no huddle begins again. Mosley on the run. And he's got running room down to around the 5 as he's brought down by Sam Williams. First and goal here for the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes offense. As Mosley looks to throw, he's going to take off. Instead, loses the football. And it is recovered by Tulsa. That was Justin Moss with the strip sack. But luckily for Tulsa, they recover. Sanford, though, was going hard after that one, and Moss just pounded the ball out. Second and goal here as Tulsa under center in the offset eye. They go with the jet sweep to Hawkins, but he's not going anywhere. Third and goal coming up as he just got back to the line. Here we go, folks. Third and goal for Tulsa. If they want to get a touchdown, they're going to have to get it here. As Mosley hands off to Jeff White, and that's a shocker as he gets assaulted by Scott Boyd in the backfield. I mean, Boyd did not stop when he saw him. Fourth and goal now as the kick is up. It is good. Tulsa gets the first points of the day. 3-0 Golden Hurricanes on top as we take you to an update. The Texas-Oklahoma game is a fun one every year, and it's 24-14 right now as Oklahoma on top of the Longhorns. Number 2 versus number 3 having a fun one. We do have a final for you, though, as Wake Forest upsets number 17 in the nation, North Carolina, 24-21, the Demon Deacons over the Tar Heels. Welcome back, everyone, to Sanford as the kick will get us back underway here. 4 minutes left to go in the first quarter after the first score by Tulsa. Sullivan's got room to run up past the 45, up to around the 49 of Tulsa. What a run. As it is phenomenal field position to start this drive for Sanford as Scott through the air, deep ball to Gillette, and look at this, one play and they're down to the 5. 43 yards by John Scott to Adam Gillette, and that is exactly how you want to respond to Tulsa putting points on the board. First and goal now, I formation. Baker in the ball game as Scott looks to throw. He can't get it off in time as he is brought down. That's Marcus Jordan, the man who got to him. And it was just a ton of Tulsa defenders getting there. And Scott was just doomed, I think, from the beginning. Second and goal now, shotgun formation. Handoff goes to Baker, and he is stopped quickly. Only a gain of 1. Baker's had a tough time this year finding room to get going. Third and goal now, still in the shotgun. Scott takes the snap, looks to throw, connects Patrick Jackson in the end zone. That is a 9-yard touchdown for Pat Jackson. And it looks like Sanford is feeling it now as they take their first lead of the day and take the lead away from Tulsa. It's 7-3 as Tulsa back on offense. Mosley looks to try and get something going as that one just goes out of bounds, incomplete. Second and 10 coming up. This Sanford defense now playing with a lead, and they're going to have fun doing so as Mosley looks to throw again. And once again, good coverage by the defense forces that one out of bounds and incomplete. Third and 10 here. As Mosley had the 5-wide set, looks to throw off the mark of his intended target. Sam Williams was the man in coverage on that target. And now Sanford's back with great field position. As Joe Baker on the run, he stumbles his way to 6 yards. That's a great gain there for what it looked like it might have been. Second and 4 now as Tyrese Baker checks in. They're in their pistol. And there goes Baker, but he can't find the room. Brought down by Darren King. That's a third tackle for a loss by King today. He's been on fire. Third and 5 now in the offset eye. Scott going to drop back. Connects quickly to Josh Williams. 8-yard connection and a first down for Sanford as the go-to guy gets his first catch of the game. 1st and 10 now. They'll go play action as Scott falls to the turf a second time. It's Darren King again. This man does not have an off switch as he gets his first sack of the day, but his 4th tackle for a loss. This dude has been a behemoth as that takes us to the end of the first quarter. 7-3, Sanford on top of Tulsa, and they're already in great field position. Welcome back, everyone, to the Coyotes Football Network. It's 7-3, and Sanford runs it on 2nd and 18. That's Tom Joseph, and he'll pick up half of what they needed, as that will be a gain of 9. 3rd and 9 now, and the wide trip set is Scott over the middle. That is Garrett Theory. And Theory's not down yet. He's back up, and that's an extra about 2, maybe 3 yards that Theory picks up. A huge 22-yard gain, as that was as easy as it comes. He was wide open over the middle. 1st and goal now for Scott and the Sanford offense. They're going to throw again as Scott rolling out. And he throws on the run. That's Gillette. Touchdown! Adam Gillette with the reception. And a huge touchdown by Sanford, as they're now going to add another possession to their lead now, as Mosley has to look to get something going. Alex Munoz with the 1st down reception there, gain of 12. Tulsa's looking for some big plays at this point with their no-huddle offense, as Wilson, the man in motion. Mosley looks to throw, and that's a big play for Sanford, picked up by Matthew Fowler. The middle linebacker playing some good coverage, just plays it like a corner, and he didn't really need to try and, keep the toes in that much, but it worked. As Baker starts the run here on 1st down, and that's going to be a gain of 3. It's a new possession for Sanford, and they have to feel great right now. 2nd and 7, handoff for Baker. He finds a little more room to run, but not much. It's only a gain of 5. He's had a very slow start for today. 3rd and 2, shotgun formation. Scott takes the snap. Rolling out again. Throwing downfield. That's caught Josh Williams. He stumbles backwards, but forward progress will get him the 1st. It's only a gain of 5, sadly. But John Scott has been absolutely flawless today. 7 of 7 for 107 yards as Baker takes the handoff for a gain of 3 on that one. But Scott has looked flawless today, folks. It's been wonderful to see. As Baker checked back in on the option, but it was fully covered. I'll give you one guess who made that tackle. Darren King. 3rd and 10. Scott throws. Wide open Josh Williams. Touchdown Coyotes. 23-yard touchdown reception. 8 of 8. 127. And his 3rd touchdown pass. Absolutely amazing by Sanford, up 21-3. And fun fact, it's 3 touchdowns to 3 different targets. As now Drew Pitts gets another catch here for Tulsa. A 20-yard gain there. That's been arguably their best play of the day. 1st and 10 now. Mosley goes play action to White. Over the middle, can't connect with his intended target. That'll fall incomplete. 2nd and 10 now. Shotgun formation. Mosley tries some type of play action. That did not work out one bit. 3rd and 10 coming up. Out of the 5-wide set, Mosley takes the snap. Looking to throw. He can't connect out of bounds, as that will fall incomplete again. 1st and 10 now. Out of the screen here goes Baker past the 40 to the 30. Down past the 20, makes one man miss, but can't outrun the rest. It is a huge play there. 50 yards for Baker. What a play. This offense is firing on every single cylinder they can. First and 10. John Scott under center. Handoff goes to Tom Joseph, who checks in to give a break to Baker, and he'll find a gain of 11. Joseph rolling today as he's got 20 yards on just 2 rushes. I believe Joseph's still in the ball game, but Collins is in at fullback, and that's going to be a gain of 5 by the Bruiser, nearly into the end zone. Second and goal from the 1. Scott takes it himself up over the top. Touchdown, Sanford. I can't believe what we just saw, folks. John Scott just scored a touchdown on his own. Well, Sanford's up 28-3 after the John Scott 1-yard touchdown, and Mosley can't make anything happen long. Falling incomplete again. Second and 10 here. Tulsa having a tough day on offense. Mosley looks to throw over the middle, connects with Hawkins. It's a 10-yard completion and a big first down for the Golden Hurricanes. First and 10 with a minute and a half just about left. As there's a false start, it looks like. That's the last thing you want if you're Tulsa at this point. Everything bad has happened to you if you're a Golden Hurricane. 1:33 left on the clock before half, and Mosley looks to throw. He'll check it down for the screen, but that doesn't go anywhere. Cedric Mills was covered up. Second and 15 here. Shotgun formation. Mosley takes the snap. He's looking to run, but he goes down. Only a yard. That is Dylan Crosby on that tackle. Third and 14 now. As Mosley throws, takes a shot as he throws. He connects, though, with Munoz. And that is a 16-yard reception. As Mosley looks to throw again. He's got time in the pocket. Can't connect with Hawkins off his hands. Second and 10 coming up, just under a minute left to go in this first half. As the man in motion here. Shotgun out of the shotguns. Mosley to throw. It's Pitts. And somehow Gordon Sutton just flies over the top of him. It's a 10-yard reception, enough for the first. Second timeout taken by Tulsa. First and 10, and Mosley looks to throw again out of the gun. He connects with Jeff White. White fighting Clemens, but he's brought down by Matthew Fowler, who finished him. Second and 2 here as Mosley looks to go deep. And in between, I think, 2 different Coyotes, as well as a Tulsa receiver, falls incomplete. Third and 2 here. Mosley going option. He'll take off, and that is going to be enough for an 8-yard gain, enough for the first down. 25 seconds and counting here. First and 10. Mosley goes down. He loses the football. It's picked up by Crosby. What a play. Sam Williams on the sack, which forces the fumble. Another strip sack here by Sanford today. This time it's recovered by the Coyotes by Dylan Crosby. Great combination there. First and 10 now. Scott could still make a play happen as he avoids a sack. Looking to run. He gets rid of it in time, and that will fall incomplete. His first incompletion of the day. Second and 10. Play action here. Scott going downfield. That's Williams. He's behind the defense. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Sanford. 68 yards. That is 4 touchdowns. 5 if you want to count the QB sneak for John Scott in the first half. What a game. We do have an update for you folks on the Texas-Oklahoma game. 31-31 tied up into the fourth quarter. It is a fun one down in Oklahoma. And we will take you to halftime. 35-3, Sanford on top. What a phenomenal first half. First and 10 here, folks, now as we get going here in the second half of play. Welcome back to the Coyotes Football Network. As Mosley to throw, and he connects with his intended target, Carlos Holly. That's a gain of 10. New set of downs as they start their no huddle again. Mosley looks to throw. Pressure was coming in, and he just had to get that one away. Great coverage by the secondary today. They have made it tough for Mosley. Second and 10. Mosley once again to throw. Downfield, Holly can't haul it in. It falls incomplete. Third and 10 now in the pistol formation. As a man in motion is, I assume, Holly. Mosley takes the snap. Looking to throw. He goes down, though. Scott Boyd, welcome to the sack party. Sack number 3, I believe, on the day for Sanford, as Scott Boyd collects his first of the day. And that will force Tulsa to boot this one. It's first and 10 for Sanford. Surprisingly, Scott and the offense are still out there. Baker on the carry. Couldn't find the edge enough, but it will be a gain of 6. So a solid gain for Joe Baker. Second and 4 now in the offset eye. Hand off. No, it's a play action pass. Scott to throw after he rolled out. Connects with Theory. 17 yards and a big first down. As Baker now in the ball game. They're in their Wildcat and they go to Baker. Tyrese Baker hands off to Joe Baker. Sadly, a loss of 1. Darren King once again on the tackle. As Chad Collins now goes to the ground, and look at him run. The big man takes it 15 yards and a big first down. As first and 10 out of the gun here. Scott to throw, connects with Williams, but Williams can't hold on. A rare drop from Josh Williams there. Second and 10. Handoff from Scott goes to Joseph. And look at that, Tom Joseph, 11 yards and a big first down. First and goal here, shotgun formation. Scott takes the snap. It's a screen. Baker with all the room in the world. Touchdown, Sanford. 6 total touchdowns for John Scott today, folks. 6 total touchdowns. Got a feeling we won't be seeing him anymore after that drive. One more update here for you for Texas and Oklahoma right now. 38-31, Texas is taking back the lead. There's less than 2 minutes to go in that one. Man, that one's been a fun game to check out. I'm glad we've been able to continue these updates on it. Welcome back, everyone, to Sanford, as it is 42-3, and folks, the backups are in from what it looks like. As Mosley takes the snap, he'll throw to White, and he is brought down. That is Ron Price that brought him down. The backup middle linebacker. As the entire defensive situation is all backups at this point, as pressure came in, and that one falls incomplete. Good pressure there by Sanford. As 3rd and inches. Out of the shotgun, Mosley to throw. He'll check it to Jeff White, as that is a tackle. I'm not exactly sure who got there first, but Jovan Coven was there. First and 10, Mosley dropping back, connects with Munoz, and that's going to be another first down for Tulsa. They're driving here, but it took the backups in on Sanford's defense for them to get a drive going. As Mosley checks it to Holly. Holly brought down by Sam Williams. He's playing some outside corner now. 2nd and 5. In this no-huddle offense, Mosley takes the snap. Across the middle, connects with Hawkins, and they will give him enough for the first. First and 10, but there is a jump. So a false start situation there for Tulsa, as that will bring a 1st and 15 situation here. Mosley looks to throw, connects with Welsh, And that is enough for the first. Marvin Clark, one of the first men who got there. 1st and 10. Man in motion is Miles. As Mosley to throw, connects with Welsh. And Wesley Wolf missed him. And he just outruns Sam Williams to the edge. It's a 20-yard touchdown for Tulsa. Well, they finally got in the end zone. It took forever. And really, it's Wesley Wolf that made the mistake there that really made that touchdown happen. Well, we're back on offense, folks, as Tom Joseph takes the handoff from Grant Fink, who is in at quarterback. So it's 1st and 10. Fink going play action. His first throw is a long dart that falls incomplete. Some miscommunication there with him and Patrick Jackson. 2nd and 10 now. Handoff goes to Chad Collins. He's not going to be able to find much. The power back only can get 2 out of that one. 3rd and 8 now out of the shotgun. Fink takes the snap, looking to throw. Connects with Patrick Jackson. 15-yard reception and a big first down as Sanford continues to drive. Nice to see them continue to throw the ball even with Grant Fink in the game, giving him a chance to showcase himself. 1st and 10 now here, still in the shotgun. They're setting up a screen. Fink goes to Joseph. Joseph has room past the 20, right down to around the 10 or 11-yard line. 27 yards on that screen. Joseph not known for a speed guy, but he found the blocks and made the play happen. So a great play by Joseph to get 27 yards on that screen. 1st and 10 now with less than 2 minutes to go here in the third. And to the end zone went Fink, and Patrick Jackson holds in his 2nd touchdown of the day. 3 of 4, 53 yards and a touchdown for Grant Fink on his first Coyotes drive, and he caps it off with his first collegiate touchdown. We have a final for you guys finally from Texas and Oklahoma. Texas brings it home 38-31 over the Sooners. They remain undefeated. Back to Sanford here is 49-10. Sanford on top, and Tulsa can't stop shooting themselves in the foot. Another false start. 1st and 15 now as Mosley takes the snap. He connects, but Pitts can't hold on. That one's dropped. 2nd and 15 coming up. Shotgun formation here. Mosley takes the snap. Looking to throw, connects with Lewis, and he is pushed out of bounds. 3rd and 4. Shotgun formation. Mosley to throw. He checks it down to Lewis, and he is bottled up. That time Wesley Wolf made the tackle, or may have been Tyrone Justice. I didn't get a good look at the number. But great field position for Sanford as a spin move by Fink on the option, and look at the run. 30 yards for Grant Fink. What a run. That is amazing by Fink. One spin move really broke him open. 1st and 10, handoff goes to Tom Joseph, and that's going to be a 3-yard gain on that one. Couldn't find a lot of room, found a little. As that will lead us to our last play of the 3rd quarter here. Fink in the offset eye, and he is ready. Just snaps it to Joseph, and he'll take it up the gut and nearly into the end zone. It's a 13-yard gain down to the 1. As we're headed to the 4th quarter here. It's 10:49. Sanford killing Tulsa. We'll be back at the last quarter of play here on the Coyotes Football Network. Welcome back, everyone, to Sanford for the last quarter of play. Play action by Fink, but he is brought down. Didn't see the pressure coming from that blind side. Mark Brown with the sack on Fink there. That time it didn't work out. We'll see what they can come up with here on 2nd and goal. Offset eye. Fink drops back, though. Rolling out. He's just going to take off with it. spins and stumbles for a gain of 3. 3rd and goal now. Offset I. Fink drops back. Quick throw to Newman, and Lorenzo Newman's in the end zone. I can't believe it, folks. This is a mauling by the Coyotes today. 55, well, 56 if the extra point is good, 2-10. Absolutely unbelievable. Mosley still in the ball game with the starters for Tulsa. I'm a little surprised. He'll take the snap out of the pistol, and the pressure was getting there from Nathan Newman. It's Wesley Wolf, or I'm sorry, Tyrone Justice brings down Drew Pitts. As it is 2nd and 10 here now. Man in motion is, I believe, that's Holly. As a throw up nearly taken away. Gordon Sutton with some great coverage. He should have had his first pick of his career right there. 3rd and 10. Big play here for Tulsa if they want to keep going. Mosley. Deep ball downfield. Once again, Gordon Sutton had it bounce off his hands. He could have had 2 there. 1st and 10 is Tyrese Baker in the pistol. He'll take off on the option, and that's going to be a gain of 16 on that run. Sanford is really doing whatever they want. They are just playing at their own will at this point. 1st and 10 out of the full house. It's a handoff to Chad Collins, and Collins only gets back to the line of scrimmage on that run. 2nd and 10. Fink under center in the offset I. He'll drop back. Quick throw over the middle, and Newman can't hang on to it. That one will fall incomplete. 3rd and 10. It's a handoff to Tom Joseph, and he goes right up the gut for a gain of 6. Now, what do you do if you're Sanford? Do you give your backup a chance? It looks like that's what they're doing. Fink getting an opportunity on 4th down. Connects with Pat Jackson. It's a conversion on 4th down by Grant Fink. They're just doing this like practice at this point. 1st and 10, Fink under center. Handoff goes back to Tom Joseph. This time he is stopped. That is Darren King again. 2nd and 11. Fink looks to throw out of the gun. He connects with Newman. Fighting into the end zone. Touchdown, Sanford. They hit 60, folks. They just hit over 60 points with their second stringers playing most of the second half. We'll bring you another update here as Houston is currently beating Memphis early here in the first quarter of play, 7-0. The Cougars on top of the Tigers. Welcome back, everyone, to Sanford, 63-10. Did not expect this for the first game in AAC play, as Carlos Holly can't go far there. 2nd and 6, Jeff White on the gain, 15-yard reception. They play him a lot like James White of the Patriots. It's 1st and 10. Mosley goes to Pitts here, and Drew Pitts gains 7. They continue their no huddle as Mosley deep downfield hits Hawkins, who gets behind Williams. 34 yards and a big 1st down. 1st and 10 now. Mosley out of the gun. Connects with White, and that'll be a gain of 3. 2nd and 7 now. They're back in their no huddle. Mosley takes the snap. He connects with Pitts, and he is out at about the 1-yard line, a gain of 10. 1st and goal now from the 1. Harden, the man in motion. Handoff goes to Jeff White, and he is bottled up. A number of Sanford defenders there to stop him. Mario White, the man who made the tackle. 2nd and goal. Handoff goes to Young. Young fighting, but he can't make it in. 3rd and goal now at once again the 1-yard line. 2 minutes left. Handoff goes to Young. And he does fight his way in. Tulsa will score a second time here today in the end zone. Well, they need this onside to work. They're not even out in the onside coverage is Sanford, but Tyrone Justice picks it up. This game, folks, is over. And it has been a shellacking through the air. John Scott, Josh Williams, Grant Fink, you name it, so many MVPs on this offense from the way they played. Absolutely phenomenal. As Sanford now just going to the ground here just to get the job done at this point. As that will end it. John Scott, your player of the game, and he played flawlessly. 12 of 14, 270. 6 total touchdowns. 5 through the air. 1 shocking us all, jumping over his offensive lineman to make it in. What a day for John Scott. There was a lot of talk about possibly seeing him get rested and take a break and time off and make him kind of try and get those interceptions out of his system. Well, he just threw 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, ran for 1 over the top of his offensive lineman. I mean, this man looked exactly like what we thought he would be when Sanford recruited him. A phenomenal day by the offense. And you can't sell the defense short. They played a great game on D the entire time. What a win for Sanford. Once again, your final 63-17. The Coyotes taking home their first win of AAC play. You've been watching the Coyotes Football Network. I've been Jonathan West. We will see you folks next week.